coming home now, a change of season. I feel it's time to leave everything behind us. I miss the ocean, a place of healing. I miss the way that place would make me feel inside. This life's a journey, it's made me who I am. So let's embrace it, turn the page, my friend. Don't regret it, it opened up my world. I'm starting over, back where I belong. Now I'm home, I feel like I'm letting go. I know I need a change, 'cause now I'm home, I feel like I'm moving on with time. I hope you'll feel the same. I'm coming home now, down the highway. This time I thought I'd stay and never felt the same. The sun is shining, it's what I needed. It's taken me some years, but now I'm on my way. Now I'm home, I feel like I'm letting go. I know I need a change, 'cause now I'm home, I feel like I'm moving on with time. I hope you'll feel the same. Now I'm home, I feel like I'm letting go. I know I need a change, 'cause now I'm home, I feel like I'm moving on with time. I hope you'll feel the same. I'm coming home now, a change of season. I'm starting over, it's what I needed. Pick your poison. One day I'll stop calling. Burn my ego. My friends are more than people. Choked on penny. Won't somebody come get me? Choose your partner, find them slow dancing with another. Lay me down in the woods until I've overgrown the things I should. You know I love to stay, at least until I can feel my own shape. Feel my shape. Feel my own shape. run from okay, turned up too late. It comes and calls me, sick of saying I'm lonely, digging in my own grave. Trace the mistake. Someone hurt you. Sleeping if you want to. Lay me down in the woods until I overcome the things I should. You know I love to stay, at least until I can feel my own shape. Feel my own shape. Feel my own shape.
Bom dia a todos. Bom dia. Estamos na 49ª edição do CINANIMA, com a nossa 5ª Masterclass, de um total de 10 Masterclasses, e elas acabam por possibilitar para que vocês vejam e ouçam imensas abordagens, imensas temáticas na área da animação. Hoje temos connosco Jorge Phidias, vai abordar as dimensões ecológicas no cinema de animação. Now let's talk in English. Welcome everybody to the 49th edition of CINANIMA. This is our 5th Masterclass since we started the festival on November 7. So today we have with us, and we are honored to have you, Jorge Phidias, and he's going to talk about ecological dimensions of animated being here.
Okay. So thank you very much for coming. Because of this weather, you are really brave. First remark, English is not my native language, so I will place the joke, standard joke. Don't try to improve your English now. Okay. The subject, it's a little bit difficult. I will try to be more simpler. Examples, I hope that it will be clear at the end. We can discuss if you want. Norman McLaren, I will read, it's more easy for me. Norman McLaren once wrote the following 3 famous sentences. Animation is not the art of drawings that move, but the art of movements that are drawn. What happens between each frame, it is much more important than what exists on each frame. Animation is therefore the art of manipulating the invisible interstices that lie between frames. These seemingly enigmatic sentences spark curiosity. What happens between the images? Nearly 2,500 years earlier, Phidias, the sculptor of the Parthenon frieze, had asked himself a similar question. Before exploring this further, I would like to add one last question. How do these reflections relate to ecology? At first glance, connecting animation, cinema, and ecology seems far from obvious. What could be the common ground between these two worlds? The first connection that comes to mind is thematic, addressing ecological issues through films. However, while this approach is interesting, it is not specific to animation. Any subject can be tackled through cinema, as well as through writing, which limits its relevance in this context. A second consideration relates to the environmental cost of production. Traditional animation use paper, which means trees. Should we reduce or eliminate this usage, moving to a paperless model based solely on digital tools seems like an ecological alternative. However, the energy consumption of computers and data centers complicates this solution, which appears more virtuous than it truly is. Today, I propose exploring a third approach, that of the medium itself. Animation is not merely a vehicle for transmitting a message. As McLaren put it, the medium is the message. Thus, what animation conveys is just as important as how it conveys it. To illustrate this idea, let's take the example of series as a model of distribution. The addiction that certain forms of animation can create, and especially the dialectical organization, what happens between the images, from antiquity to the present day. Circular evolution, linear evolution. The philosopher Kostas Papaioannou distinguished two modes of evolution within civilizations, one circular, the other linear. This is the part a little more difficult. After that, it will be more easy. Circular evolution, characteristic of antiquity up until the Sophists' arrival, the Sophists, as well as Chinese cosmology, perceives the world as a cyclical system, evolving while repeating itself. Conversely, linear evolution, adopted by Christianity, is goal-oriented and strives to reach this goal. For Christianity, earthly life is only a stage on the path to eternal life. For Aristotle, circular motion is perfect and eternal, as opposed to the imperfect and perishable rectilinear motion. Although one must be wary of oversimplification, this approach could help us to rough out a complex reality. These two visions lead to different consequences. In circular evolution, progress lies in deepening understanding, seeking coherence, balance, harmony, and global and perspective, and the global and perspective of interdependence. By contrast, linear evolution drives constant advancement toward an objective, disregarding the past and the surrounding context. This model leaves behind anything incompatible with its progress, in essence, waste. For linear evolution, the key word is more. Produce more, consume more, more faster. For circular evolution, the key word is better or deeper. Doing better, understanding better, adapting better, progressing with greater precision. Ecology aligns with this circular dynamic. It is based on system of balance and renewal, like recycling. The evolution of species, as described by Darwin, exemplifies this principle of constant interaction with context, following nature's dialectics. By contrast, linear evolution mirrors the model of consumerism, supported by a financial system rooted in debt and credit. Borrowing today to repay tomorrow creates a paradox, using up the resources of future generations. This model corrupts order by creating needs that must be met, leading to the current ecological disaster. We are drawn to the linear model because it mirrors our own existence, birth, life, death. But this trajectory leads to one inevitable end, death. Moving forward in a straight line requires certainty and belief, while exploring requires curiosity and doubt. Thus, linear evolution fosters dogmatism, while circular evolution encourages contradictory dialectical reflection. In 1982, Godfrey Reggio's film Koyani Scacci depicted the headlong rush of the modern world. Koyani Scacci, derived from the Hopi language, means life out of balance. Through animation, accelerated motion, and Philip Glass's repetitive music, the film critiques the excesses of linear consumerist model. Sorry. Sorry, it's my... So, animation comes in various formats, but the series format particularly embodies the linear model. Often aimed at younger audience, series carry a pedagogical responsibility. They can meet the needs of a subject or follow a commercial logic. In the Odyssey, for instance, condensing Ulysses' wanderings into a single episode would destroy its essence. The waiting and the stages reinforce the significance of his return. This structure conveys nostalgia and loyalty to one's homeland. A film develops around a theme before concluding, whereas a series extends episode by episode, postponing resolution indefinitely. To structure a series, narrative recurring characters like Harry Potter or The Simpsons are convenient. The series, therefore, leans toward an individualistic approach. She speaks on a tree when she means to speak of the forest. By suspending the conclusion at the end of each episode, the series format creates expectations, provoking addictive curiosity. Scheherazade, in The 1001 Nights, used this technique to captivate the king, making him addicted to her stories. Infinite waiting generates addiction, a malady that is nothing other than the result of excess, the hybris condemned by antiquity. Okay, it is difficult to speak frankly when many among us make a living working in TV series. To not give up on, I would like to give the floor to someone with strong shoulders. I quote Wim Wenders. This excessiveness, as illustrated, is the disease of our era. A headlong rush forward, superficial goals, consuming recklessly, and leaving waste in its wake. No one openly admits to using addictive methods. This insidious objective is conveyed by the medium, expectations for series, scrolling on social media, endless wanderings and battles in video games where one must stay alert to kill and not get killed. The unspoken aim is to create addiction, binding spectators as fans and consumers, while repetitioning, combined with simplification and the rush forward, it induces a hypnotic state, hindering synthesis and deep global understanding. Running and thinking simultaneously is incompatible. The headlong rush trains us in obedience. Linear evolution teaches us to embrace the temporary, the trivial, the simplified, and the disposable. It moves too fast to care about the waste left behind in its path. The ecological system, however, evolves cyclically, following the seasons and recycling organic matter. The headlong rush might be acceptable if resources were inexhaustible, but the current ecological crisis shows this is not the case. We have reached the limits. The linear model is no longer viable. What happens between the images is important, McLaren once said. But what exactly does happen? The alternative to rushing forward by chaining episodes is a model that focuses more on relationships than on individual units. It centers on interactions within a network of interdependencies. The filmmaker Sergei Eisenstein built his entire approach on montage and on the meaning that arises from confrontation. This idea aligns closely with McLaren's. Eisenstein applied this relational method both between shots and within their composition, lighting, and meaning. We will see two examples. There is no sound. It is a little bit sound. It was too fast. I don't know if you had the time to see three marble statues who animated. I will show another example. Okay, alternating different composition and lighting creates the feeling of the sound, of the vibration of the shooting. The famous Kuleshov effect experiment in 1921 demonstrated that scenes exert a subliminal influence on one another. The Russian director inserted the neutral face of the actor Ivan Mozhukin between different images, a bowl of soup, a coffin containing a child, and a reclining seductive woman later. Viewers interpreted the actor's expression differently, hunger, sadness, or desire, depending on the context. Today, we know with certainty that human perception is not objective, but contradictory and prone to illusions. Focusing on a single preconceived idea risks leading us astray. By focusing on a tree, one can easily make people forget the forest, the individualistic approach. This is evident in the following example. Okay, thank you to those already familiar with this experiment for not revealing the answer. Some of you, perhaps you have already shown what I will show now. In the film you are about to see, players will be passing a ball. Focus carefully, this is the instruction, and count exactly how many times the players in white t-shirt touch the ball. Count how many times they touch, the white players touch the ball.
The monkey business illusion. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball. The correct answer is 16 passes. Did you spot the gorilla? For people who haven't seen or heard about a video like this before, about half is the gorilla. If you knew about the gorilla, you probably saw it. But did you notice the curtain changing color for the player on the black tee leaving the game? Let's rewind and watch it again. Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold. When you're looking for a gorilla, you often miss other unexpected events. And that's the monkey business illusion. Learn more about this illusion and the original gorilla experiment at theinvisiblegorilla.com.
How many of you have observed the changement of the color? Nobody. Okay. So, this was an example that focusing on trying to think about one thing, individual approach, we can miss whatever is going out. Also, when we hear something and we try to focus, when you try to focus on what I say, do you hear the rain? Not at all. Okay? Anyway, our attention is selective. Montage, through the dialogue it established between shots, is a powerful vector for creating sensations and meaning. Animation employs the same relational logic in the creation of movement. The medium of animation tells what happens between the images. Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson, two veterans of animation, explain how meaning evolves based on the number of intervals between two key drawings. I quote, "Just two drawings of a head, the first showing it leaning toward the right shoulder," something like that, "and the second with it over the left and the chin slightly raised," something like that, from here to here, "can be made to communicate a multitude of ideas depending entirely on the timing used. Each in-between drawing added between these two extremes give a new meaning to the action. First, no in-betweens. The character has been hit by a tremendous force. His head is nearly snapped off. One in between has been hit by a brick. Two in-betweens has a nervous tic, a muscular spasm, and an uncontrollable twitch. Three in-betweens is dodging the brick. Four in-betweens is giving a crisp order, get going, move it, get going, something like that. Five in-betweens is more friendly. Over here, come on, hurry. Six in-betweens sees the spot car he has always wanted. Seven in-betweens tries to get better look at something. Eight in-betweens search for the peanut butter in the kitchen shelf. Nine in-betweens appraise, considering thoughtfully. 10 in-betweens stretch a sore muscle. Okay. As McLaren pointed out, what happens between the images, in this case, the number of intervals, is what determines meaning. Nearly 2,500 years ago, Phidias designed the Parthenon frieze by embracing the power of interdependencies. I will show a short video I did. This is a study, it took me many years. I will not comment a lot about that, but it is just an example to show that it's the same mentality. Here I put a different position, one over the other, and it creates the movement, and there are parts that are missing, but you can see there is a kind of continuity. The figures are like key drawings. Anyway. The study of motion, animation, is in essence what used to create connections through an invisible yet intentional flow of movement. Every gesture found its continuation in neighboring figures. You saw it is naturalistic and strong animation. It is not something easy. Key drawings with a good precision, even though the clothes are not similar. Here in the one figure is in the left, the other one is at the extreme right place. Here this one, there the other one. Every form, every tilt, every thickness of a leg or fold of fabric created resonances with surrounding shapes. In the solemn sections near the gods, the figures were finer. In the cavalry, they were sturdier and more virile. What is the purpose of this subtle hidden animation, the between the images, as McLaren should later describe? For Phidias, it was a means of expressing the vision of interdependencies among all individuals within a greater whole. It reflects the essence of dialectics and democracy. The main action is not individual, but the result of multiple interconnected actions. Let's see. These are gods, and if you put one over the other the figures, they are pointing. Here, the god gesture pointing toward the Athenians' procession in their honor is composed of several individual gestures working together in harmony. Man as the measure. From the harmony of the cosmos to the sophists. It is important to clarify something here. Until the time when the Parthenon was constructed, 447 to 432 before Christ, the counting is the opposite way from actually, one dominant idea prevailed. The cosmos, the universe, was structured by mathematical proportions as a form of harmony, as a kind of music. This was the famous music of the spheres, a doctrine of the Pythagoreans. From this idea emerged an ethic. Goodness was the integration into this harmony, while evil was dissonance, that is, excess or hybris. It was always necessary to seek balance. Koyanis catches somehow this mentality. Measure, the metron. Several maxims reflect this concept. Moderation is the best in all things. Pan metron ariston. Μηδέν άγαν, nothing in excess. Ουκ εν το πολλό το εφ. The good is not in quantity. However, this ethic did not last long. The arrival of sophists radically changed the paradigm. For the sophist Protagoras, man is the measure of all things. Πάντων χρημάτων μέτρων εστίν άνθρωπος. Anyway, this is the anthropocentric vision of today begins here. Forgot the cosmos and its harmony. Subjective perception replaced objective and global vision. If I, as an individual, succeed in convincing you, that is true. Supposed. The sophists developed techniques to defend anything and its opposite according to the desires of the paying client and the ignorance of the audience. This established an entirely new ethic. This individualism persists to this day. We recognize it in communication, which, like the sophists, promotes the interests of the baker. However, the ideology of always more and the waste it generates, while it might have been viable in a world of abundance, no longer fits in a world that has reached its limits. Today, we consume more than this earth is capable of producing and replenishing. We are beginning to grasp the reality of interdependence. What was once intuition and belief for the Pythagoreans is today, albeit for different reasons, a concrete reality. Man is not the measure of the world. His very survival depends on his ability to understand this reality of interdependence that ecology proclaims. Today, we are able to comprehend the paradox that the flap of a butterfly's wing in Brazil could cause hurricanes in Texas, as warned by the catastrophe theory. A global and dialectical vision is essential. If we are to find a connection between animation and ecology, we can focus on this point. Both animation and ecology are relational approaches. These are approaches, therefore, that require learning, as an expert in what happens between the images, animation could serve as a pedagogical tool for learning dialectics. Rather than perpetuating the addiction, accumulation, and headlong rush taught by today's consumerism. We could envision a learning process focused on critical thinking, dialectics, relationships, interdependence, and a global and profound perspective that is a learning of ecology through animation. The alignment of McLaren's ideas with Phidias' practice could be used to highlight this model. A model where, once again, goodness would mean harmony and evil would mean excess and the arrogance of individualism. In short, an ecological model. Thank you for your attention. I don't know if I am able to answer, but if I am able to understand the questions well, because I understand English when I speak, but when I hear English, it's more difficult. Anyway, let's try to discuss if you have some points that you want to deepen a little bit.
Alguém tem perguntas?
So, do you have any opinions on artificial intelligence, both in the ecology realm and also in animation?
Okay. Thank you for the question. It is very actual and interesting. I have not a definitive answer. I am not afraid of artificial intelligence. I am afraid of people who are behind it. Like, Okay, I will not, don't give names. You know what I mean. This. Artificial intelligence, I understand it like in the model of what happens in writing, in language, many thousand years ago. Writing started as drawing. Little by little it was simplified, and everybody, and the cow became the A, the home became the B, and so on. Everybody is a thief when he used the drawing of this guy who in his cave drew the first cow. But everybody of us use A, B, C to talk. That means that, in fact, I think Jean-Luc Godard said once, the first moment, the first time I imitated something is when I say mama. So we are, we say that the artificial intelligence is a thief who take our own work. Everyone take something learning. We use a pencil, somebody invented it. We use color, somebody invented. We use a line who is a thick line to create something who is atmospheric. Some people do it before us. We use this language to express, and we create new expression, new knowledge, and so on. That's why artificial intelligence continues in the same process. But it creates a tool. It must produce a quantity of works. But even now, who of us have read all the books of a library? It's impossible. We choose. With artificial intelligence, we will do the same. We will more quantity of expressions, good and very bad, but some of them will go up. It is a tool, just a tool, comfortable tool, a new tool. It is good to embrace it, but I am afraid because of stupid people who are behind it and who drive this tool, who can be fantastic, drive it to bad directions. I think we have to understand how to manage this, how to control this tool. Don't leave the tool with the people who is behind him to impose rules. That's my actual reflection. Yeah.
More questions?
Yes, here.
Do you think that the animation nowadays is worse, is like better than the past? Like, is better nowadays, or do you think like it's getting worse?
If animation is better nowadays or worse, is that the question?
Yeah, like do you think that nowadays is getting worse, the animations, or like with the use of AI?
In animation, we don't use extensively actually AI. In the future, it will come. We crossed the technological computer evolution or revolution, 2D or 3D, from 80s. Before, it was more material, chemical, mechanical techniques to do animation. If we examine what happened to animation since this moment, we can see that it's a kind of big multiplication of a big quantity of new films, new people who involve into, and so on. And by that important, massive investment, quality ideas, new ideas go up naturally. So this was a good thing. On the other hand, the artifactual way of doing is somehow went a little bit back, which is important also. But I remember when we was in meetings 2 or 3 decades earlier, the main question you ask, someone asked to a director was what kind of technique you used. In the actual period, this question is somehow disappeared. That means that with computer manipulation, we lose the way of something is done. We can do a painting being red or blue, the same painting being blue by changing a parameter in Photoshop, for example, who is not very spontaneously, somebody don't understand it in the public. And finally, it's the result that counts. To come to your question, we have changement of quality. They have an improvement in quantity, and that's more interest. More people are interesting. More a kind of. In the past, it was in the beginning. It was 2, 3, 4, 10 festivals. Now there are thousands, and so on. So you can see, but that don't mean immediately that it is better or worse. It's another. We go on with this evolution.
Mais perguntas?
Thank you for showing us the Phidias work. We kind of also have in Portugal animation from the primitive people. There are some engravings in the north of Portugal, and with animals that have multiple heads that show movement. I don't know if you know this is example. And do you think well in other way the Greek sculpture used to have painting, and it lost over time the color. Now it's all white, and I think that the culture has also lost a bit of color, and now everything is medium. The music is similar, the art is similar. What is your opinion on that?
The culture in general, okay. So for the first part, I know a little bit this place in the north of Portugal. I would like to be there, but it's not so easy. There is somebody, a French scientific, Marc Azema, who wrote a very convincing two books about this prehistoric period. He realized that in this moment, in prehistoric period, people had invented things like thaumatrope, which a disc with 2 different positions, drawing position, one side and the other, and when you turn them fastly, you have a kind of mixture. He realized it, which is a good proof. But on the other hand, he also did statistics on, I don't know how many cave drawings. It's a kind of 5% that use efforts to represent movement analysis, so animation, for different reasons. We can't be certain why. Is it magical? Is it religious or something like that? Is it a toy? Anyway, but it started from even this moment. And I have to say something. In the past, I thought for different reasons that it was not possible for these people to do effort to create movement. And because of the book of Azema, I changed my mind. Why? I thought that animation would like to be some noble origins, to say that we have a big history, because as it was considered like a childish kind of cinema. This is one, but another reflection. For thousands of years, the conception of representing the movement was not the cinematographic illusion, was mainly something as in, you can see in the Jericho painting, the horses, the debris of Epsom. You have horses that front legs are toward in the front, and the back legs are to the other side. This is not natural position for a horse. We found it after Maybridge chronophotographies. It was a big discussion in this period if it could be like that or not, and so on. And for thousands of years, painting used this standard in all continents, in China, in Africa, in Tassili, for example, you have this solution. So I said, it's not normal, these guys, prehistoric guys, to have the cleverness to try to create a kind of illusion of movement. And I say also that in the illusion of movement mainly starts in Occidental painting. This is wrong, but anyway, starts from futurist and so on. So probably it is a result of actual the motorized movement, who is very fast and creates this illusion. So it's a new experience. In earlier period, they couldn't have this experience. I say it's wrong because I found in Japanese emaki mono scrolls drawings with this illusion of movement, and rarely also in Occidental paintings. Anyway, main representations was to a kind of other solution than stroboscopic movement. And that's why I wonder me if they had even the mental capacity to invent this kind of cinematographic illusion. And some other arguments, but I will not develop, to don't belong. With Marc Azema books, I was convinced that it was possible. And later, I found that even in Egypt, in Mesopotamia, in ancient Greek, there is a continuity that people try to use different ways of movement representation, a kind of key drawings of animation in Egypt, in Mesopotamia, in Greece, and so on. There is a continuity. Okay.
Yes?
Okay, it's not so easy to react. It needs some time to get down. I will I think about a question that could be asked. How we could do an approach with animation. Some characteristics. For example, focus on themes than individuals. Avoid mannerism. Seek graphics that align with the themes rather than pursuing a personal style as a kind of signature. Put graphics in the service of the subject. Abandon, addictive techniques. Abandon. Develop relationships in their contradictions, in their dialectics, and try to deepen, to do more perfect the work than to accumulate, to do more and more and more. So that's some lines that could adopt. Anyway, this is not easy because, as I said earlier, many of us earn our lives working on series. So it's not, but we have to try to see clearly.
George. Marina, she has a comment, so I will pass.
You don't want to do it personally? Okay.
I'm going to pass it.
Question because
Marina.
yeah, okay, thank you. Not a question because I don't want to start a deep discussion, but you started to quote McLaren and also McLuhan. So, and there's this, and then in several answers you mentioned technology and technique. So technology being the scientific scheme that translates into tools, and then technique, the way to use these tools in procedures to have results. So, and then humans evolve through technology in order to change ecology. So you see my point. I don't want to start a huge discussion because I will have lunch or dinner with you, so we will talk about it. But I would like to comment that we really need, we animators, really need to think about it, because we depend on tools. And one of the, so you said it's about the mean, it's about the medium, and McLaren used to tackle the technology in order to produce a film. So it was not about techniques, it was about questioning the tools and to be very close to, as a painter, to his brush, he said. So, and Regina Pessoa did this, her films also questioning and incorporating in her body the digital tools until it was so close that she would almost dream about them. So we really need to, this is my comment, I think your reflection is quite useful because it established some sort of a frame we could use in our reflection about animation, our position as a human beings within our practice, and not only do films and find some sort of content to animate, but to reflect about our position within that standards or that dominations, or which as we choose a language, the words which we should choose and reflect about our position within the animation procedures. And thank you so much.
Yes,
I enjoyed quite a lot your communication, your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Marina. It is important to dominate the tool. Don't leave the tool to other hands. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Yes.
Two, actually. Sorry.
Okay.
Then I'll let you go have lunch. Thank you so much for the talk so far.
Slowly and.
Okay. Thank you so much for the talk so far. I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned video games before, I wanted to ask, how do you feel about because I worked in games very briefly, so I have some. I worked in games very briefly, so I have some experience with themes that are popular, and it's become very popular recently. So about like 5-10 years ago, since then till now, a type of game that is called a cozy game, which is a game that involves, for example, cooking dinner for your friends, and all you do is make a meal, or having a game that promotes relationships between the characters. And I wanted to ask you if this aligns with your idea of an ecological, or in this case, something that promotes harmony and the circular sort of evolution. Because you mentioned themes and relationships, and I wanted to ask your opinion about, what would is this a beneficial sort of look? Like, why is this becoming more popular, do you think?
Okay, thank you for the question. I'm not a gamer, but I am not against the game. Game, it's a practice that you can find in nature. It's all animals play. And that a way to learn. One time, people continue with imagination in the theater. It's another kind of metaphor. It's another kind of game, which natural. Even our dreams are somehow a kind of not reality into another reality into the reality. So I can't be against games. It depends what is the aim and how long it takes and where they are driving. This is the question. We have not to oversimplify. We have to choose and direct things.
Okay. I have a question for you. Thank you. Since my belief is that the world is antagonistic in regards to an ecological standpoint, the world is built upon capitalism, which is antagonistic with the ecological view. My question for you is, do you think that in a world of excess and obsolescence, do you think the animation will lose its significance due to the overload of information and overload of artistic products?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Animation is cinema. Cinema, live action cinema, is a kind of childish part of animation. It's a kind of joke because animation considered a kind of cinema for children. I think that it is the opposite. Why I say that? Cinema, live action cinema, based, it's a language, it's a big culture, naturally, don't forget all that. But it is based on naturalism. Imagine if all arts, drawing, painting, or music or whatever, this metaphorical universe was limited to a kind of naturalistic representation. It would be much more poor. Even though cinema have a big quantity of excellent films, and don't take this caricature I did exactly just in limits. But cinema is popular because of something really primitive, the resemblance to nature. Animation is a cinema who, one way, by the movement or by the image, say, no, I am not a mold of reality, I am a metaphor, I am something else. I go to a thought, I go to a feeling, to an imagination. Cinema, live action cinema becomes art. It's not me that say, I think it's Yuri Lotman, perhaps I'm wrong, I don't remember very well. When starting manipulating these naturalistic shots by editing, by conflicting between them, and by changing lighting and so on, they bring these naturalistic copies to speak. They become art after this moment. Earlier, it's a kind of spectacular mold. It's a kind of, like in circus, like a paradox, attractive paradox. But it is limited up to that, this naturalistic representation. Art expression starts after that. So I don't remember very well the question. I think I answered, isn't it?
The question sums up with, if you think that animation will become obsolete in the future, since there are so many...
Absolute. I try to avoid to use this word. Things are going on, so I don't know what happened later. And now with AI, for example, the expression, visual and sound expression, change a lot. The important is a way to talk, to express ideas, to discuss. And I think that little by little, live action cinema lose his prestigious situation it had and becomes little by little animation. That means moving image, that's all. Animation and cinema, live action cinema is similar, the first material. So I think that it will be at the end, we will go to a kind of literature with audiovisual support. That's all. Thank you very much because you came even though it was raining. And I wait to see your movies.
Graced in the life that I get to live each day, and smile at the joy that I hold in my hand. This time when I go, will I take her with me?